lead with as much acceptance and the care practices. And so I'm very excited to invite my friend Diane here, because her and I do a lot of these practices on our own. And I think the idea is to really be meeting the moment with care and kindness. So that can be a goal for us, or a hope for us in this time. So I'll just make a little space for Diane to say hello and anything that you feel like saying before we start a little practice.
Thank you, Philip. Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here. As Philip said, we meet quite often and have a regular practice that involves compassion, and just recognize how important it is for ourselves and for everyone as well. So thank you for inviting me in.
Thank you. So what I'll transition with now is probably a 5 to 10 minute practice where we can really invite a settling, invite a connection with the present moment, just to allow us to arrive. And anybody who's tuning in now or in the future is welcome to join us. Really a big takeaway from this practice is we've got to practice together, just like anything we do, whether you're practicing a running group or an art group, anything like that. It's the best in groups. So I'll just invite a comfortable posture as we intend to arrive here. That can mean that the body is really permitted to be at rest. And oftentimes we might even find that there's muscles that are tense that we can release. This can be a time of no screen time. So you might allow your gaze to be above or below the screen, or some people allow their gaze to come closed. This is really a little time in. You'll hear the bell as a way to start. And we can just begin with a long and slow deep breath, filling up the chest and lungs. And slowly releasing out. And again, air slowly coming in, long and slow. And releasing long and slow. And once again, extending that in-breath. And extending and releasing the out-breath. Now we might invite our attention, which can be analogous to a spotlight or a flashlight, turning that flashlight just to one aspect of experience at a time. We might start on the breathing process. And this is just watching the breath come in and go out at its own speed. Bringing curiosity and a sense of discovering each moment with the breath. We might feel the effortlessness of the breath, that it's not really any thing that we need to control. Rather, we're just observing what's here. We can also bring our attention into the body really experiencing life in this moment. So we can now turn that flashlight of our attention into the body. And just starting where it's easiest, you might even ask, what's the easiest place or aspect of the body experience to notice? And for some, that can be the connection points with the earth, under the feet, wherever you're seated. Noticing temperatures and sensations. Perhaps noticing the hands, temperatures, sensations. As well as subtle movements, perhaps the rise and fall of the chest and stomach. And anywhere else in the body that feels noticeable, accessible. I just turn that flashlight of attention there without doing anything, just a simple noticing of what's here. And for the last moments of this practice, we might even just inquire the state of presence right now, perhaps compared to when we first started. And just inviting a blinking of the eyes and bringing that same curiosity into the sense of sight. Might even reorient to our space. Here in Maryland, where I'm calling from, and traditional Susquehannock territory. And I know connecting all the way with you in Wisconsin, Diane. So need to get to practice across the country here.
Definitely.
So I guess for the people listening in, and for myself as well, I'm always curious about the why of bringing in a sense of care or kindness as we meet the moments. Some might even call it acceptance. And compared to leaving that out and not doing that. And I'd just be curious, in your experience, if somebody were to ask you why does it seem important to bring that sense of care in this mindfulness practice, what would you respond with?
Wow. So the why. I think the why for me, and as you and I know, we may feel like we're alone, but we truly are not alone. Other people are experiencing the same thing, is to overcome past messages. It might be got the message that you're not good enough, or you're not important, and that, and the deep downness is that we are all important. We are all good enough, and the practice just brings that back to light. You talk about the putting the flashlight on things. It could be that, but it also could be digging up the value of what we are that's been buried over the years from messages of not good enough, or you could do better, or things like that. So,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you on that. And I've heard other people say, that we can be our own worst enemy, really, as human people, the most hardest on ourselves, and also with cultural messages that we might not even be aware of. And so what I'm hearing is that this practice can help us to kind of shift that perspective, so that we're able to at least question those ideas that we're not enough, or don't belong, or anything like that. So yeah, the word that I think about is reparenting, that we can actually have that choice. And then when times are challenging, maybe that voice inside that did say, I can't believe you did this, or you're so bad, or whatever, might be a little bit more caring, like, oh yeah, this is a tough time. Why don't I respond with some kindness? And another, maybe a question that might lead us into a little bit of practice together for just a short kind of intro practice. My hope is that we're planting some seeds for people to get curious about. But just if somebody asked you, well, how to do that, I know you could probably write a 1,000-page paper on how to. But where would be the easiest way to start for you in your experience of the how to kind of bring this sense of kindness and caring into our moments, and how do we relate to life?
I guess for me, the how has been just part of the process. Having teachers, you're a teacher, and that having teachers who cultivate that practice, and looking within. You did it with our practice, checking in and putting the light on things. You can't fix that which you can't acknowledge. And some of it is acknowledging what message that you're holding on to, and then just putting light on it. Mm-hmm. Is it a true message? Is it helpful, or is it hurtful? And if it's hurtful, you have to change it. If it's helpful, definitely go on with it.